Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to another YouTube video on the channel. And today guys, we are going to be continuing our big round reviews. Now in today's video, we're going to be reviewing every game of round 12 of the 2022 AFL season. And of course, this was when the bye round started, so this one will be a lot shorter than usual, as well as the next few weeks. We've got 6 games to go over, so we'll go over the byes real quick. Carlton, Essendon and Port Adelaide, Richmond, St Kilda and GWS all had byes in this round of footy, but even though those teams had byes, there were still some cracking games to go over. So I'm not going to waste any time, and we'll go ahead and get right into things. So the round started off with a massive Friday night blockbuster at Marvel Stadium between the Western Bulldogs and the Geelong Cats. And Western Bulldogs 10-10-70, lost to the Cats 12-11-83, and it was a slow start that did them in. The Cats kicked 7 goals in the first term and were lucky to walk away winners. They kicked 5 goals in the next 3 terms to fall completely short to what they would have wanted to be, almost throwing out a 30-point win out the window to only win by 13. Now, it was the second quarter that really brought the Dogs back into things, and the third term for the Cats was a goalless one, and we had a game, and the Dogs really clawed close in the final term to almost snatch victory, but the Cats were just too strong, held their composure a couple of times in that quarter to walk away 13-point winners. And for the Western Bulldogs, this is a big loss for them, and for the Cats, this is a big win. This one was really going to be critical to whether the Dogs make the 8 or not, and they failed another big challenge. And you do have to try and beat some teams in this sort of calibre if you want to make the 8. Come September time, you may struggle. But, yeah, the Western Bulldogs, it was just the first quarter that really killed them in this game. And other than that, if they had been more in it in the first term, they possibly could have won the game. But the Cats, they were the much better side on Friday night. Now we go to the first game on Saturday, where Adelaide 13-10-88 got over the West Coast Eagles 8-9-57, and the Adelaide Crows almost did throw out a little bit of a percentage booster in this game due to a sloppy third quarter, which saw them only bag the 1 goal in that term. Their first term is what penultimately won for the Adelaide Crows, being completely honest. They were up 32-1 at quarter time, holding a 31-point lead. And then half time, that they were just as good in that term. And then the third quarter was a little bit of a letdown. The Eagles just clawing their way back, just to be around 35 points down at three-quarter time. They kicked the first few goals to be just around that 20-point margin down in the final term. But the Adelaide Crows kicked a few crucial goals late to put it back up beyond 5 goals and to win by 31 points. Nothing special about this game. But yeah, the Crows did need a win like this. It wasn't very comfortable by any means, and they probably could have done it a lot better than what they did. They should have won by more, but the Eagles, they were better in the second half of the game, but the Adelaide Crows back on the winners list with a pretty comfortable and convincing win over the West Coast Eagles by still a pretty solid margin of 31 points. Up to Darwin we go for the Saturday twilight game, where Gold Coast 15-19, 109 smashed the Roos 7-5-47. There wasn't really anything great in this game. The Suns win by 62. Could have won by more due to their inaccuracy. And it was in the first term where North Melbourne actually got the game on their hands, 10-27, led by 17. Pretty comfortable. Well, not comfortable, but decent lead at the first break. And the second quarter is where it ended. North Melbourne couldn't get a single score on the board, and the Suns hit the scoreboard heavily. And it was game over at half-time pretty much. The Suns were up by about 30, and then in that third term, they just extended their lead. But it was actually a relatively even quarter, with the Suns just a better, and then the final term, North had another goalless quarter, and the Suns just said goodbye, going from 40 to 60. So, yeah, pretty comfortable win for Gold Coast. And can they make the 8 this year? Well, that is definitely a chance for the Gold Coast Suns. Now, to upset of the round we go, where Melbourne 9-7-61 failed to overcome the Swans, challenged 10-13-73. And the Swans, they were well up to the game in the third, in 3 quarters, and the Demons only ruling the 1 quarter. And that quarter they ruled was the first quarter, leading by 20 points at the quarter time break. They did kick the first 5 goals of the game, however, to lead by 26 at one stage. And did they kick? No, I don't think they did kick the first 5, did they? Hang on. Yeah, they did kick the first 5 goals of the game to lead by 32, I believe. Yes, 32. And no, I don't know, but they were very good anyway in the first term. Demons. Doesn't really matter how many goals they kicked. They kicked 4 or 5. They ended up with 5 in the first term, however, and they were exceptional in that first term. And it looked like last week they were up 43-12 last week as well, and it looked like okay, that they will win this game by a lot. And no, then in the second quarter, because the Swans do have slow starts, they brought it back in the second term, did Sydney, to be up at half time. And then the third quarter was an up and down, except the Swans didn't get any goals, and the Demons just a 1 to lead. Final term, the Demons kicked the first goal. It looked like, they might win this, and then the Swans just came rampaging to win the game by 12. But yeah, the Demons, another first quarter rampage, but they just couldn't hold on, letting the second and really third term getting the better of them. But yeah, this is another big upset, really big win for the Sydney Swans, as they are hoping to, make finals, make the top 4, get further and then an elimination final. This is a big win for their club, and a big upset. They win by 12 over the fast-starting Demons, but they had a very good game in this one. And they applied lots of pressure as well. Whenever the Demons had the ball, they won it straight back. Now off to the MCG we go for a cracking game of Sunday Arvo footy, where Hawthorn 10-8-68 just couldn't get over the Pies 10-12-72. And both these teams have put together, a constructive 2022, although the Pies having a better 2022 and actually being a genuine chance for finals again this year. And the Hawks, they've had a very up and down year. You don't know when they're going to play and when they're not. The first term and the second term, to be right, was dominated by the Magpies. They were so much better, having a pretty comfortable lead at both stages, bobbling around that 20-point mark. They flew out of the books early, and Hawthorn couldn't really retain them. In the third term, though, the Hawks did come back and brought their way back into the game. And in the final term, they actually led for a little bit as well. But the Pies just proving to be the better team in a very classic game of Sunday Arvo footy. It was a brilliant game. Hawthorn really tried to work their way back, but Collingwood were just the better side. Look at how much time there was to score at the end. But yeah, Collingwood held off the Hawthorn Hawks to win by 4 points in an absolute Sunday blockbuster at the G in wet weather footy as well, hence the low scoring. But Collingwood by 4. And now to the final game of the round, where we go to Perth for the best game of the round. Fremantle 15-9-99 get over the Brisbane Lions 13-7-85. Flagmantle are the real deal in season 2022, I reckon. Freo, they were good in this game, and they've beaten the best team in the competition and the second best team in the competition. So they are a threat. Wet weather footy though can harm them, so a big challenge coming up against Hawthorn. It's forecasted for wet weather footy, so a big test for Dockers. But in dry conditions, they've looked amazing. And they broke the game open in one stage where they have done all year. The first term was Brisbane, and so to the second term, although the Dockers did fight their way back into the game in that second term. And then in the third term, they've not just done it once, they've done it multiple times this year, where the Fremantle Dockers have excelled in this third term. And they kicked 6 goals to 3 in this third term to take the game right away from Brisbane and have it in their terms. And that's where the margin sat at the rest of the game, was just under around that 3-goal mark. Brisbane tried to come back in the last term, but the Dockers always had responses for that, and they were the better side. And Freo this year are looking like a real force, a real hard team to beat. And this was a brilliant, cracking game of Sunday footy, and the better team, which was Freo, won this game. So a big round of footy it was. Western Bulldogs failed to beat the Cats. The Crows got over the Eagles. The Suns smashed the Roos. The Swans got over the Demons. The Pies got over the Hawks. And the Dockers over the Lions. Buys Carlton, Essendon, Port Adelaide, Richmond, St Kilda and GWS. So now, round 13. What footy we got here? Thursday night footy returns. Richmond versus Port Adelaide. Big blockbuster there. Essendon, Carlton is on the Friday night. Saturday, Freo Hawthorn could be wet for the Dockers, so a big challenge. Actually could be closer than what you think. don't get fooled. Brisbane versus St Kilda, another epic Saturday night blockbuster. North versus GWS, the battle of the struggling teams, although I do have a pretty comfortable winner in this one. And Collingwood versus Melbourne, big freeze, Queen's birthday clash. Lots of good stuff going on there. And the buys for round 13 are Adelaide, Geelong, Sydney, West Coast, Western Bulldogs, and Gold Coast. So the ladder, now this puts Brisbane and Fremantle just one game away. Just one game away from the Melbourne Demons, of course, with Carlton and St Kilda still to play, which can also put them equal on points with Brisbane and the Dockers. So really big stuff coming up as well. Massive stuff coming up. Collingwood sit in the 8 temporarily, although they do await on Richmond's result. Port Adelaide, time is running out for them as well to make a jump on the 8. I reckon Louis versus Richmond, and their season could possibly be over. Where it sits, Hawthorn and Adelaide are actually on their tail as well. If things don't go Port Adelaide's way, then who knows? Port Adelaide could really have a bit of a slide, and even one of these two teams could overtake them, which I don't think would be the outcome. I think Port Adelaide's lowest finishing position would probably be 12th. And then, of course, you've got your strugglers, GWS, Essendon, North and West Coast, so that'll round up the ladder. But look, big few rounds of footy coming up to really define the season. Yeah, some really big games, 13, 14, 15, massive rounds, 16, and then you can really, after 15, you can really start slashing teams of where they are at. But anyway, that's going to wrap us up for another video. We'll just quickly go over 14 as well. Richmond versus Carlton, St Kilda versus Essendon, Port Adelaide versus Sydney. Now that is a big game, that one. West Coast versus Geelong, GWS versus Western Bulldogs, Gold Coast versus Adelaide, and the buys. Listen to this list of clubs: Brisbane, Collingwood, Fremantle, Melbourne. Those are the big clubs having buys, and then Hawthorn and North Melbourne will also join them. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Send you guys another video on the channel. Round preview will be out tomorrow. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Bye everyone. Flaming Footy out.